A melancholic ode to Meli Cayo Coco, or how I learned to grieve the death of hospitality. Oh, gather round, my fellow travelers, and let me weave for you a tapestry of a symphony of disappointment so profound. It would make even the most hardened backpacker weep into their lukewarm instant noodles. This, my friends, is the tale of Meli Cayo Coco, a place where dreams go to die, where the concept of 5 stars is a cruel joke, and where the only thing more abundant than the flies is the sheer audacity of management. Let us begin with the rooms, those sacred sanctuaries where one is meant to rest their weary head. Picture, if you will, a space that smells not of fresh linen, but of despair and mildew, as if the walls themselves are sighing in resignation. The videowe, the bed, is not a king, but 2 sad little doubles shoved together like an afterthought, a metaphor for the entire resort. Fake, unstable, and held together by sheer willpower. The towels, a single, threadbare scrap of fabric, as if housekeeping believes guests are merely damp kittens in need of a light pat down. No lotion, no shower cap, no tissues, just you, your existential dread, and the haunting realization that you paid for luxury but got a Soviet-era hostel experience. And the bathroom, a masterpiece of neglect, where the tiles whisper tales of better days long gone. The shower, a lukewarm trickle, as if the pipes themselves are too exhausted to deliver a proper spray. You stand there, shivering, clutching your single towel like a life raft, wondering, is this the fabled Cuban hospitality, or am I being punished for some unknown sin? But let us speak of dining, for here lies the true tragedy. The buffet, is a carnival of repetition and flies, where the same sad dishes parade day after day, their flavors as bland as the management's imagination. The beef, chewy as shoe leather. The fish, suspiciously absent, unless you count the ones the flies have already claimed. And the piece de resistance, cockroaches, my dear friends, not as guests, but as chefs, scurrying over the food with more enthusiasm than the actual staff. You stare at your plate, a monument to mediocrity, and think, is this what they feed prisoners? Or is this just how they break your spirit before the real torture begins? Ah, but the beach. The one thing they cannot ruin, except, of course, they do. Yes, the sand is soft, the water is blue, but where, oh where is the service? No towels, no water, no fruity little drinks with umbrellas, just you, the sun, and the crushing realization that you are utterly alone. You must trek back to your room like some sort of desert nomad, clutching your own towel and water bottle, while the staff watches, unmoved, as if your suffering is a spectator sport. And the staff, some are sweet, yes, like Hector at breakfast, who smiles as if he hasn't yet realized he's working in a dystopia. But others, Andy the waiter, a man so indifferent to human suffering, he could teach a rock to be more responsive. You ask for a menu, he stares through you like youre, a ghost. You beg for a reservation, he shrugs as if to say, darling, in this economy. The mosquitoes? Oh, they are the true VIPs here, feasting on your flesh with more vigor than you ever did on the food. The half-demolished restaurant in the center of the resort, a perfect metaphor, broken, abandoned, and left for dead, much like your hopes. And so, my friends, we arrive at the grand conclusion. Meli Cayo Coco is not a resort. It is a crime scene where hospitality was murdered, and all that remains is the ghost of what could have been. You leave not rested, but haunted, vowing never to return unless, of course, you enjoy paying 5-star prices for 1-star suffering. So tell me, fellow...
I'm looking into crimes near Meli Cayo Coco, CayoCoco, just trying to warn tourists about the scams they might face when they visit this beautiful area. It's so sad, like, people come here to relax and have a good time, but some locals just want to take advantage of them. So I found this one incident where a couple was approached by a local who recognized their resort wristbands. Like, can you believe it? They targeted them just because they knew they were tourists. The scammer offered them some kind of service or product, and I'm guessing the tourists thought it was a good deal, But later, they realized they'd been deceived. My guess is the couple was really upset, like who wouldn't be? They probably felt so stupid for trusting this person. And I'm sure they were worried about their money, like how much did they lose? Did they even report it to the police? I don't know, but I hope they got some help. As for the scammer, I'm like, how could you, targeting innocent tourists just to make a quick buck? I hope they got caught, but probably not because who knows, right? Anyway, that's what's going on near Meli Cayo Coco, CayoCoco. Just be careful, and don't trust strangers too easily. They might seem friendly, but they could be scammers.
The reality of businesses near MeliCayoCoco. CayoCoco, if you're staying at MeliCayoCoco and thinking of stepping outside the resort, prepare yourself. The businesses nearby, they are not what you'd hope for. They are, in a word, disappointing. Some are outright scams, others are just poorly run, and a few seem to exist solely to test your patience. Let's start with Plaza Los Flamencos, a place that should be a fun little shopping and entertainment spot. Instead, it's a masterclass in frustration. The bowling alley, broken. The pins don't reset properly, the scoring system is a lie, and the staff seem more interested in arguing about money than fixing anything. One visitor handed over $50 for drinks, only to be told later that the same clerk had no change when they tried to pay for something else. Suspicious, no? Then there's the issue of empty shelves, closed shops, and a general feeling that this plaza is barely holding on. If you're looking for souvenirs, you might find some, but be ready to negotiate like you're in a back alley bazaar. Then there's Lennys, a restaurant that should be a charming beachside spot but instead feels like a trap. The food? Overpriced and underwhelming. A tiny lobster for $25, a plate of rice and shrimp that somehow costs as much as a full meal, and don't even think about paying in Cuban pesos, they'll treat you like you just insulted their grandmother. The bathrooms are filthy, the service is either non-existent or hostile, and the whole place runs on the assumption that tourists won't notice they're being ripped off. One family left hungry after spending $180 on a meal that barely fed them. Another guest got food poisoning. Lennys is not a restaurant, it's a lesson in regret. And then there's Hotel Playa Paraíso, which is less of a paradise and more of a cautionary tale. Moldy rooms, septic tanks overflowing onto walkways, food that gives you more than just indigestion, it gives you trust issues. The staff, some are indifferent, others are outright aggressive. One guest had an employee grab her arm twice because she dared to take food from the kids section. Another found a stranger in their room at night. The buffet is a fly-infested nightmare where plates are rinsed, not washed, and the only consistent drink is rum because everything else is unavailable. So what does this tell us about businesses near MeliCayoCoco? They are unreliable, often exploitative, and rarely worth the hassle. Some might argue, well, it's Cuba, things are different here. But different shouldn't mean bad. Different shouldn't mean dangerous. If you must venture out, go with low expectations and maybe bring your own soap. Otherwise, enjoy the resort, because outside those gates, it's a gamble, and the house always wins.